Welcome to the very first MPNA Clarified Team News broadcast. With so much going on around the world at VA and even within MPNA, many of you have questions that you want clarified. I'm Eva Campbell, and I'm here to help bring you the facts and clarity. Today, I will be interviewing MPNA's Tag Team Administrative Officers to bring clarity to what jobs they perform. I'd like to introduce to some and present to others Administrative Officer Keith Jordan, who joined the MPNA team in February of 2019. Keith, tell us a little bit more about you.
Thank you for that wonderful introduction, Eva. So I started my tour here at the VA, working in the Central Office Human Resources Service, formerly known as CORS, back in 2012, and stayed with them roughly until 2018. Where I transitioned to the Congressional Legislative Affairs Office as Administrative Officer. Stayed there for a year and landed a lovely job working in MPNA as, guess what, Administrative Officer. So I've been with MPNA now for going on 2 years, and I love it.
Berdina Featherston jointly serves as MPNA Administrative Officer, joining the team in August of 2019. Berdina hails from the Office of Operations, Security, and Preparedness, where she served as an administrative officer for the past 10 years. Berdina, please tell us a little bit about yourself.
Thank you so much for that introduction. I came to the Department of Veterans Affairs in October 1992, coming from the Department of Treasury. And my first tour in HRA was at that time. I served in the Office of Human Resources Management Service, which was called CORMS at that time, and it was later called CORS. And then I left there and I went to the Office of, actually I went to VBA, and then I came back to HRA later for another tour. And I served in the Office of Administration. And as you mentioned, I served and more recently served in the Office of Operational Security and Preparedness, OSP, for the last 10 years. I recently came to MPNA in August of 2019. And that's where I have served ever since. And it has been a tremendous experience thus far. So that is just a little bit about my background history.
Say that there are so many interpretations on what the MPNA administrative officers do. Some say that you all only obligate funds. Others say you do travel. And there are some who say you ask a lot of questions. Too many questions sometimes. Inquiring minds want to know just what is yours and Berdina's role within MPNA?
Well, Eva, since inquiring minds want to know, we are more than happy to share. So let me just give you a quick rundown of some of the things that we do as administrative officers within MPNA. We have budget functions where we review, track, and implement HRA's budget operating plan, performing end-of-year closeout activities, adjust obligations throughout the fiscal year, provide budget input to and liaison with OM budget analysts. We process reimbursable agreements as the buyers of service, as well as HRA's seller of services. We also liaison with OM's risk analyst. We support the PMO with creating and approving obligation documents as it relates to contracts. We research and resolve payments, undelivered orders, and invoices. We process special payments, and we also monitor obligation balances and make adjustments as needed. And that's just on the budget side of the house. But we're also TMS administrators and domain managers, which means that we create TMS profiles for contractors, new employees. We make training assignments, edit training assignments. We assist with individuals who get locked out of their accounts. We research technical issues, and we also maintain course.
What HRA offices do you all support? Berdina?
Well, let me attempt to answer this. So they're generally saying we support all the offices of human resources and administration, OSP, but it's based on various levels of support, depending on the roles that we're fulfilling at the time. And even with that, just as the organizational structure of HRA and OSP is evolving, our support to those entities continue to evolve.
It has been said that records are only hard copy documents and that they are the only things we have to manage. Berdina, would you mind clarifying that statement?
Sure. Actually, a record is much more than a hard copy document. The short definition, according to U.S. Code, is a record includes all recorded information, regardless of form or characteristics. And the term recorded information includes all traditional forms of records, regardless of physical form or characteristics, including information created, manipulated, communicated, or stored in digital or electronic form. And I'm so glad that you asked this question because as the newly appointed MPNA records liaisons, we have been working on the MPNA's file plan. And a file plan is a comprehensive list of your offices or our consolidated offices files along with specific information such as the record series it falls under, file location, and file retention and disposition. So, while we have a general idea of the types of records that we have in MPNA, we need your help. We need all the offices within MPNA to help us in identifying specific records in your respective team's offices, electronically or hard copy. So Keith and I will be reaching out to you and your offices for input very soon. Your team's input will be rolled up into a consolidated MPNA file plan submitted to Ms. Big Silvers for review and approval, shared with the HRA records officer once that person is identified, and submitted to the VACO records officer. The file plan is just one part of the records management documentation process, and we'll let you know as we continue to go down this path and what the next steps will be as we proceed in this role. Also, please know that there will be an independent assessment team performing assessment sometime in the future. So again, we'll keep you all informed of how and when that will occur.
All right, on records management, and we all have a role to play. Lastly, we'd like to know, what are some of you guys' accomplishments? Keith, would you mind starting us off?
Certainly. Well, let's see. In addition to meeting the daily customer service requests for TMS assistants, which we average anywhere from, I'd say, probably 5 to 7 a day. We also worked with the purchase card assistants, answering questions from stakeholder organizations such as OM, Financial Service Center, and staff offices, answering space data calls, budget monitoring, tracking, and talking to Berdina about 65 times a day. We work jointly with HRLS and all of HRA offices in processing the 2019 Performance Awards. We have processed and obligated internal reimbursable agreements, intra-agency agreements, and a plethora of contract obligations. And I want to say total combined, I think we probably running somewhere around 30, maybe even more than that. I'd have to do an actual count, but somewhere in that range for this fiscal year alone. Successfully developed, communicated, and submitted HRNA's response and supporting documentation for Principle 16 of the Internal Controls Assessment to Audrey and Shanna. And if you guys don't know what that is, it's also known as the ALICA, and that's done every fiscal year as well. As time permits, we are documenting and in some cases streamlining internal processes and procedures. We finished the updated HRNA purchase card SOP, which had not been updated since July 2017. Going forward for signature. And lastly, we also created an internal MPNA funding document checklist to help streamline requests for obligation documents. These are just some of our accomplishments this fiscal year.
Wow. Is there anything that you would like to add, Berdina?
No, I think there are a whole lot of little things that we do we probably could add, but I think those are the big ones, and I think Keith covered them well.
All right. You guys certainly clarified that you all accomplished many things in addition to supporting all of us. Thank you. Keith, is there anything you'd like to add?
Oh, yeah. As you can see, as administrative officers, we have a multitude of roles that we do on a daily basis. And some days, it may be more budget related, a lot of things with budget. But oftentimes, we might have to put on a different hat, and sometimes it's more TMS, or it might be, more purchase card / travel card related. But nonetheless, it's a very busy and complex role that we serve, and we serve proudly when you're talking about a large organization within HRA.
All right. There's your clarification. The admin officers provide support to all of HRA in varying degrees and levels, and it continues to evolve as the organization transitions. Keith, you and Berdina do the same functions. You two would have to work closely together in order to coordinate work assignments. Is that true? How do you and Berdina coordinate work assignments with one another?
Yes, we work closely together. Unless one of us is out of the office, there really isn't a day that goes by that Berdina and I don't email or call each other. And particularly as it relates to where we are today, working remotely, Berdina and I bug each other several times throughout the day. We copy each other on tasks and work assignments and responses. Some assignments I will take the lead on, and others Berdina will take the lead on. Usually, both of us will reach out and touch each tasker. And oftentimes, even within that, what we like to do is sometimes I may get, an email to me and Berdina's not on it, and I'll forward it to her. And then we'll have a conversation about it just to make sure that, we're both on the same sheet of music as we move forward to complete.
Yeah, we do have a tremendous working relationship, and I probably call Keith more than he cares for me to call her. But we enjoy working with each other. We do have a open line of communication.
Wonderful.